Oh, thank you. I'm so proud to be here. Are you okay? Thank you for welcoming me to your ancestral land. And I acknowledge the detrimental impact that colonization has done for indigenous people and for the Maori people. And I'm so proud to be invited by you, and so proud to be here. I've been living on the streets, as I said, injecting drug user in Oslo, and now I'm standing in the parliament in Aotearoa. And I am, drug users are nice people. I'm proud to be a drug user. I have nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm not proud because I used drugs, or because I took a drink, or because I had a cigarette. I'm proud because despite the unjust laws, racist-based, colonized-based laws, I didn't obey those laws. If a law is unjust, you should not obey them. Don't break the law, but if the law is just unjust, and if you haven't used drugs, then you have to ask yourself, why? Of all the things, all the risk you put yourself through, all the things you have put in your body, and even though we have these real unjust laws and you haven't used drugs, Are any here in favor of harm reduction? That came in the war on drugs, in the Ronald Reagan Just Say No era in the 80s. And try to imagine what the attitudes, the ideology that the professionals had, that the researchers had, and that the politicians had at this time. They wanted to combat drugs, they wanted to fight drugs, and then we got this HIV. So who do you think suggested all these great things with a health-centered approach? It was unthinkable for the professionals. It was unthinkable for the researchers. It was unthinkable for the politicians. It was the drug users that suggested, handing out needles so that you can inject the drugs. Of course, it was the drug users who suggested this, and we broke through. And I know because I was there. I've been doing this for a very long time. And when we have 50 sites in Norway. Norway is a country with a population size as you. We have 50 sites with needle and syringe programs. And we have 8,000 people in substitution treatment with buprenorphine, methadone. We have evidence showing it saves 100 lives every year. We even have a drug consumption room. And who do you think suggested that maybe injecting drug users should sit inside with dignity, health workers, and inject their drugs so they don't die? And it works so well. So then we had to organize, because we stood up against the temperance movement, so many politicians, and then we wanted development. And we said, now we must focus on overdose prevention. We must carry naloxone, the antidote, and in Norway, very many people inject heroin. So we had this switch program. We inspire the heroin users to go switch from injecting to smoking. And it works very well. It saves so many lives. And, it was unthinkable for the police. They should stop using heroin. Well, they cannot stop now. Maybe they don't want to stop now. Maybe it wasn't good for them to stop now. But they can change their route from injecting to smoking. And that was at the time the parliament gave us a national overdose strategy with naloxone as a key element, with switch campaign as a key element, and every 31st of August, we are marking the Overdose Awareness Day to focus on overdose prevention and to remember all those people that we have lost. And that came from the parliament, and we got this conservative minister, and he was to promote this all over the country. We should have naloxone, we should have this switch. Arild, can you come up here? So we got to know each other, and he learned about the tolerance and the pragmatism that you have to have those kind of programs. And that's after that, when the drug user organization, we wrote in the biggest newspaper in Norway, a petition where we said, the drug users must be listened to, human rights must form the basis of all drug policies, and we must decriminalize drug use without any intrusive sanctions. And that's when Bent Høie answered that, well, now I have changed my opinion. So yes, I was in the CND in UN, the Commission on Narcotic Drugs. That's the lion's den. When Bent Høie showed research, extensive research, that criminalization of drug use, any drug, any group of drug users, it does not prevent drug use. It only creates crimes, stigma, it makes more people die and live in the streets. It just creates all the kind of problem that we call drug problems. So he presented this drug policy reform to the UN, and it was received very positively by all the high-level UN organizations. And you know, there were people from the government of every country in the world, and bureaucrats and ambassadors and so on. So then I said to Bent Høie, since you have been including the drug user organizations, now we're getting into an evidence-based and human rights-based politics, and I thank you so much. And that's when he replied, thank you, Arild. We have been discussing this for more than 20 years. We had our disagreements. You had right, I had wrong. But criminalizing in Norway is all about the follow-up after arrest. But why on earth should the police go after drug users? Now they have taken 2 steps back. The policing must be, you shouldn't go after drug user and arrest them because you are not criminal because you use drugs. That's not criminality. I'm a nice guy. I'm a drug user. I'm an intelligent. I love you. I love your society. I love the Maori people. I'm so proud to be with them. I don't do anyone no harm. But I'm a drug user. I deserve a dignity in life that everyone else can take for granted. So thank you so much for inviting me. I think my time is run off, and have a nice conference. Thank you, thank you, thank you.